Democracy is the pursuit of mediocrity. Xiefeng. June 23th, 2011. 3 cobblers could never exceed Zhuge Liang. Neither 3,000 nor even 30,000 cobblers could outwit him. When critical decisions are to be made, an individual of lofty vision and great strategies can outperform the collective decisions of tens of thousands of the mediocre. Democracy leads to mediocrity and to dead ends. We can illustrate this point by the several ups and downs of Chairman Mao Zedong during early 20th century Chinese history. June 1929, in the 7th CPC National Congress of the 4th Red Army held in western Fujian, Mao Zedong was forced to leave his position of the Frontline Committee Secretary of the 4th Red Army. November 1931, in the southern Jiangxi meeting held in Yeping, Ruijin, Chairman Mao was mistakenly criticized by the party and was elbowed out of the Central Committee during the Soviet era. October 1932, at the Ningde meeting, the chairman was excluded aside again and even lost his post of political commissar of the First Red Army. January 1934, during the Second Congress of the Soviet area, he was made a mere figurehead and removed from his position as chairman of the Central People's Committee. The result of these demotions was the gradual shrinking of red bases, and the revolution ushered low tide, resulting in the failure of the fifth counter-campaign against encirclement and suppression. The Red Army was forced to make a strategic shift to start the solemn and stirring move in the war history of mankind, the 25,000 Li Long March. The central base personally created by Mao Zedong was destroyed overnight. The whole universe is run in a unilateral manner under the one unique greatest creator. It is only when all life in the universe follows the will of the greatest creator that the universe can run orderly and all life can survive and live effectively. In any other way, the universe would collapse. If a cat or dog were not convinced, and cried out, "Oh, greatest creator, you have been too autocratic and domineering," the throne of the greatest creator should be shared in turns and the greatest creator should be chosen by democratic elections from the whole universe, then all would disappear. As it is with Lifechanyuan, if the guide were to be decided through a democratic election and if I were not elected as such, then Lifechanyuan would inevitably dissolve, and if that were to happen, the hopes and dreams of all the Chanyuan celestials would become impossible to achieve. Napoleon famously said, "Nothing is more difficult, and therefore more precious, than to be able to decide." It is only when the chief commander makes the decisions that they can be effective and orderly. The sage embraces the one and becomes the model of the world. The greatest creator is the one in the universe. The state leader is the one in the government. The boss is the one in a company. The conductor is the one in an orchestra. This is the model of the world, and sages must comply with it. Whoever creates a business should be the boss, with all big and small decisions being made by or delegated by that boss. Question: what types of people want democracy? Answer: 8 of those types are described here. Irresponsible people. People with mediocre minds. People who scramble for power. People who do things stealthily. People who are selfish. People who shift responsibilities. People without definite views of their own. Profiteers from others' labor without sacrificing. All matters, big and small, must be managed by responsible individuals. They should be the ones to make decisions within the scope of their responsibilities. There should be no arguments, debates, discussions, or consensuses. Whenever 2 or more people jointly control anything, the result becomes a resource-consuming process with low efficiency and mutual finger-pointing, with no one ultimately being held responsible. No matter how democratic a flock of sheep is, it can never resist a wolf. No matter how democratic a group of people with mediocre wisdom is, it can never match the vision and insight of a saint. The Lifechanyuan era does not practice democracy, but each one has their duty and accountability. Like the 8 immortals crossing the sea, each one shows his or her special prowess. Each undertaking is in the hands of one responsible person. Others should cooperate fully and follow the exact requirements of the one in charge strictly and meticulously. If a leader cannot control their rule, but decides every affair through compromises and consolidations, then they are not being responsible and are incapable of assuming their responsibility. They are consuming and wasting everyone's time and energy as well as their natural and human resources. Democracy always leads to mediocrity, and the wise should guard against that. But what should we do when a leader is self-willed, domineers their power, and exercises tyranny? I do not know. What do you think?